All right, fans of music, welcome back. It's Dave. It's the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people, just like you right there, just like me right here. Yesterday was a really interesting day watching the Kane camp and the Schon camp. And this goes back to videos I did last summer, except my perspective, and I'm getting a lot of crap for it. You can't make everyone happy. I've learned a lot of things since last summer. Now, if you're into fake Christianity and you're into pastors who fleece their flocks, and by the way, who've had a history of fleecing, and who seem to like to hang out with people who fleece, if you like pastors who are overtly political. Now, you may be in the pulpit, or not you, but you may be watching your pastor in the pulpit, and they're preaching on a topic, and it's got political ramifications and so forth, but you're in the confines of the church. By the way, I don't think that's legal. I think you can lose your tax-exempt status if you start doing that. I don't know if anyone's going to crack down on it, because it's kind of like George Orwell stuff, but the point, see how far off we're getting because of all this? I'm not supposed to be political, and I don't want to be political. But when you bring in this type of quote-unquote religion or faith or Christianity, it's, to me, you're opening all these doors. And that's why Neal Schon last summer said, hey, whoa, this isn't what this is about, but we're going to get a month's worth of promotion on this type of doctrine and this type of faith. And of course, you can take this with a spoonful of all the good stuff, like finding out about inside stories. I told you about the Jeff Scott Soto thing, and it is tragic how this church burned down years ago and how it left an imprint. I'm not disparaging any of those things, but it's almost like this good stuff, which you have to take with all of this stuff that's not good, that's mixed in with it. They always told you to take a spoonful of sugar to make that medicine go down. Now, this isn't medicine. This is more like potion to me. This is like voodoo potion, all right? Because if you really take a hard look at what the keyboard player's wife has been doing, her whole life's work, and the things that have happened, and if you just do a cursory Google search, you're going to find some scandalous things. Now, hey, look, I deserve grace, she deserves grace, but her philosophy really hasn't changed. And her overt political side hasn't really changed or been tamped down a bit since Neal last summer made it clear that this band isn't about any one religion. Now, he wasn't disparaging religion when he said that. He just, look, they've done interviews where they've said, we're not political, and, I don't think they want to endorse any particular religion, but it seems that there's a camp in this band, and there seems to be tacit approval from their management company, which is Irving Azoff. So I watched Neal yesterday on Twitter, or I saw his tweets, and he's talking about the album Frontiers, one of the great Journey albums of all time, 35 years old. No mention of it on any of these appearances, and hardly a mention of the upcoming Journey Def Leppard tour. At least, do that and throw your guitar player bandmate a bone. Say, hey, got this tour coming up, because that's what Neal's about right now. Now, Neal, I don't think, is able to do this self-promotion, at least not right at this moment. And I had a video I did yesterday about that with Irving Azoff. I just find it very peculiar that one guy in this band right now is able to do a whole bunch of things that people don't get to do if they're in a contract situation. But my main point is Neal believes this music is sacred. And I can tell you, maybe not in the way that, people do Christian worship, but yours truly has been driving down the road before and a song comes on the radio. And I feel like it's a spiritual experience. I really do. I feel that those notes were put together in a way that takes me to a different place. Now, is it a Christian-based place? I don't know. It's just a good place where I feel at peace and I feel happy. And I don't see why there's a problem with that. I think you can look at almost anything in this world as sacred. You can look at a sunset as being sacred. And I think that's where Neal was going with it. I think sort of bastardizing this brand, and that's a tricky word, and I used it on purpose, or pimping it out for the purpose of promoting yourself, selling yourself, in a way which the band probably wouldn't have agreed to back in the Steve Perry days. I think that's a mistake. And I think Neal is, again, that's why Neal's back on Twitter. That's why things might get interesting. I think once these guys start touring, it'll be over for this kind of stuff, I think. However, you've got, 20 days or so of just nonstop, here's my book, here's my book, here's my book. And I can see why Neal is a little frustrated. All right, that's it. That might be my last video on this topic because I know people are starting to say, hey, just leave John alone. And honestly, I do want to leave John alone. It's just, I never thought I'd be in this position a year later. I just never thought that things would turn around so much, but they have. All right, I'll be back. Hopefully this won't be speeded up, and hopefully there'll be sound. Talk to you then.